Happy Tuesday to you, Randy. How's it going, man?
It's going. We are, at least a month into the season for most folks, except for our Southeast friends who are probably having their first show coming this weekend. But today's session we were going to title the ABCs. And I think when we talk about that, Richard, we're talking about dividing the band up into smaller groups of mini bands to help improve the strength and the sonority of the ensemble and the confidence of maybe some of the younger players. And then the ABCs of part writing, in other words, creating possibly some A, B, and C parts or some B and C parts to some of the musical writing so your students are more confident and more attuned to those particular skill sets. So I'll let you start it off.
Yeah, and I'm anxious to hear your thoughts on this too, Randy, because I did things a couple of ways, and I've seen directors do things a couple of ways when it comes to creating an A, B, C, and even a D band if you have a large group. A lot of times, directors will make sure that there are an even amount of experienced kids and younger kids in each of the bands. So it's kind of still a real experience. But then there are times, and I did this a lot when I was at Carmel, where we would have just our top concert band kids would perform, and then, or they would play while they're doing the drill. Everybody would do the drill, but they would play. And then we'd have our second concert band, and we'd make our way all the way down to our freshmen, our beginners, I mean, not really beginning players, but beginning marching band members, where they had to play. And one of my goals was always, and people used to think I was crazy, and I was, and still am, but one of my goals was to tell our young kids, how cool would it be if our youngest members were playing as well as everybody else's entire band. And that's the way, and they would get a big smile on their face. It's like, wow, and so I did everything I could to encourage the young players, to remind them how important they were. So you can divide it up a bunch of different ways, but boy, the kids sure learn, and you will sure learn about who knows their parts and who doesn't when you do that A, B, and C band thing.
Yeah, and as you said, it definitely strengthens all aspects of the band. That saying, "A rising tide raises all boats," and it's absolutely true. And the other thing you'll discover during that process is, a lot of times in the drill, those instruments will be regionalized, and you'll hear pockets in the field where there might be an absence of presence of sound. So you're discovering that. I do like the idea of dividing them out by ensembles because most of the time you'll get most of the parts covered within the
Right.
chord structures. I think it also, you could also look at assigning them based on parts so that you have a decent distribution of all of the chordal voicings, and you can kind of get a sense of what each ensemble is doing. And again, the most effective thing is seeing it in regions of the field where the weaknesses are in terms of pockets of sound. Because as judges, we are able to hear where those spots are in your program where there might be some students not adhering to a breathing plan, so there's a hole in the sound, and there's a change in the sonority, and those sorts of things. So what, as an arranger, what kinds of things do you do? And obviously we're already a month into the season, but maybe we're looking at now the judges keep complaining about this one section. The students are struggling performing it from a technical standpoint. What do we do? Do we create a B or a C part for kids that just need a little bit easier time of it from a technical standpoint? What have you done in the past?
Well, I think I've done a lot of different things, but I think now, after all these years of being involved with this, it's more important to me than ever that every kid on the field feels like they're contributing, and that they're not holding the group back, or that they're not keeping their section from being successful. And so I think having an A, B, and a C part, the A part would obviously be the full technique. The B part might be about half of that technique, focused mainly on downbeats, and maybe a few offbeats here and there. And then the C part might just simply be downbeats, but something simple that everyone can play. But the good thing about the A, B, and C parts is it immediately lets kids kind of live where they are technically. And then for the younger kids, as the season moves on, hopefully on their own, they're going to say, well, you know what, this week I'm going to try the B part because I think I'm ready for that. And so our goal, of course, would be to hope that by the end of the season, we have as many people doing the A part as possible, which means those younger kids are developing their technique and they're developing as musicians. So that's the reason I really like the A, B, and C thing.
Awesome. Well, thanks everyone for turning into the ABCs. We should have done a Michael Jackson, soundtrack there, ABC, but we didn't do that. Always think of those great ideas after the fact.
Yeah, you don't want to hear me try to groove to that.
We'll have to do a session with you playing a little bit of piano. I'll we'll do a little intro. We need to come up with a theme song. We need to, we've got the little thing that plays at the beginning of the credits, but we need a theme song better.
Yeah, that's a good thought. It's probably time for that. We've been on long enough.
Yeah, we got to give other people things to laugh about.
Yeah, exactly. As if we don't already give them enough things to laugh about.
That's right. That's right. Well, everybody have a great week, and we look forward to seeing you next week on another episode of Coffee Talk. Have a good week, Richard.
Keep digging in there, everybody. Have a great rest of your season.